Hello everybody, my name is Wyatt and welcome to another awesome video. And today we're going to react to Debt to Society, a Rainbow Factory fanfic. Okay, let's go. I forgot, I have my caps locked on. Here we go, guys. Woo! I'm gonna include the live chat.
Warning. The following reading contains subject matter that some listeners might find disturbing or difficult to hear.
Right.
Listener discretion is advised.
Thank you.
The following fanfic was the Rainbow Factory 10th Anniversary Contest winner. It was selected by the original author of Rainbow Factory, Aurora Dawn, and a team of judges. My contribution to the contest was to make an audio adaptation of that story for my channel, which you will hear now.
Debt to Society.
Congratulations to the author Mushroom Pone on your win.
Good job, man. Congrats, Mushroom. It's a poem.
This was the first August in Scootaloo's memory that wasn't dominated by the looming stress of returning to school. In many ways, it felt good. There was a freedom to it, of course, a longer period of relaxation than she had possibly ever had. The anticipation of many months to pause, reflect, and figure herself out. But in many other ways, it felt terribly wrong.
I'm pretty sure he'll see my comment.
Or a torn-put primary. As Scootaloo stepped off her aunt's front porch and marched purposely across those first precocious golden leaves, she couldn't help but feel that she was forgetting something.
Oh, by the way,
couldn't help but mourn the well-worn weight of her missing backpack.
And I got my
couldn't help but try
on.
to recall what paths she might wear through those familiar halls in the coming year. She had been in school a long time, longer than anyone expected, to be honest, least of all her. When she had finished at Ponyville Primary, she had proudly moved on to Twilight School in Canterlot. From there, it was only a matter of time before she rose through the ranks to a teaching position. Twilight had planned it out, of course. No avoiding it.
Oh god.
Except there was. Scootaloo did her best to shake off the wave of guilt as she wound herself through the streets of Ponyville. After the guilt came the sharp stabs of other memories. Fact blended with fiction. A terror which struck her heart ice cold. She shook that off as well. The stiff polyester vest she wore sawed into the back of her neck with predictable accuracy, and Scootaloo tried to twist her head to avoid the pain. The vest did not relent, however. It only drove deeper into that peach fuzz fur at the scruff of her neck. Scootaloo tugged at the collar, shifting it to and fro, and only finding more creative ways to make her neck ache.
Still here, huh?
Scootaloo stiffened at the unexpected voice. A scrawnier than average cult smirked up at her from the curb in front of the video store. He, too, wore a polyester vest, though his seemed more certain. More confidently worn into place. He also had a name tag, an addition to the outfit which newbie Scootaloo had yet to obtain.
I don't know why you're surprised. Literally every morning. I told you, Rumble, I'm home for good.
Sure. I'll believe it when I see it.
Scootaloo said nothing, just rolled her eyes and stepped out of the way as Rumble unlocked the door. The video store was but he didn't smell it. The salty, greasy stench of popcorn had already worked its way deep into the ugly, swirling carpet, accented by the occasional whiff of sour plastic and generic cleaner.
Oh my god.
Much like Rumble's red vest, it sagged into place with a sense of
oh my
purpose
god, I love it.
It might have been a new addition, but it had been here forever, and it would be here for another forever.
Last in makes popcorn.
Rumble instructed, pointing to the rinky-dink popcorn machine behind the checkout counter.
Have fun smelling like a butterball.
No fair, dude. You live across the street.
Rumble shrugged.
Well, life ain't fair, Scoots.
Scootaloo had made a sound under her breath. something venomous and vitriolic,
I'm just trying to let
but
people
ultimately
know.
said nothing. Out of the corner of her eye, she could have sworn she saw Rumble bristle. He, too, said nothing. The popcorn machine hummed to life as Scootaloo flicked the row of switches on.
Gabby
as the
Shy.
whirring grew in volume. That smell truly started to
Gabby
take
Shy
over
was
the
in
store.
this? That's cool. Good
Oil and
job,
salt.
Gabby Shy.
Hotter and hotter. Heat and grinding gears. Spinning ceaselessly. Liquid pouring from the crevices.
Oh no.
Liquid gold which
Hey, don't leave it open while it's heating.
Ooh,
Scootaloo
God.
blinked.
Sorry.
She mumbled, closing the glass door and locking the acrid stench
God, that scared the
away.
fuck out of me a little
Rumble only looked at her. Couldn't even seem to find it in him to shrug. After a long moment, he cast his eyes back down to the
PTSD.
floor and continued to sweep.
So, did you check out Shutter Island yet? Remember? I lent you the videotape.
Scootaloo shook her head,
I
as if
love
enough
this
shaking
song.
could dislodge the images caught in her
Or
brain.
something. Number one, I don't know how
You
the
know,
fuck to say it.
sorry, I'm just not really into, like, thrillers, I guess. Too real, you know?
Rumble narrowed his eyes.
I guess. I thought you used to like that stuff.
Scootaloo only shrugged. Rumble tried to say something, only he couldn't quite find the words. Sensing the sort of endless purgatory of awkward silences on the horizon, Scootaloo cleared her throat and ducked under the counter.
How many scoops of popcorn kernels again?
4. 3 oil, 1 salt. It's on the card.
Scootaloo poked her head out from under the counter to squint at the index card affixed to the side of the machine. It had doubtlessly once held some very helpful instructions, but the oil had caused the ink to bleed, and now looked more like a sloppy rainbow mess.
You get to help us make rainbows. Beautiful, magical rainbows. Doesn't that excite you?
Scootaloo's face contorted.
Hey Mecha, can
as
you
she
tell me
tried
what
to force the
PTSD is
strange
again?
thoughts
Because I
out of
forgot
her
what
mind.
it was.
She made a small, strained sound of concentration.
I forgot
and
what
willed
the fuck
stranger's
PTSD
voice
is.
to
I mean, I
quiet,
know what it is.
though it only seemed to grow
Jesus
in volume,
Christ, I don't even remember.
echoing against the empty inside of her skull. And then the bell over the door tinkled softly.
I'm just looking at the chat.
Scootaloo opened her eyes.
We're not open yet. Read the sign.
Oh, relax. It's just us.
Slowly,
Wait, who is
wearily,
it?
Scootaloo peered over the
Diamond
top of the counter.
Tiara, Silver
The two mares in the
Spoon,
doorway were more
The
than just
Officer,
familiar.
and Lucky
The
Two.
sight of
Oh,
them
Lucky
practically
One.
rocketed Scootaloo
Customer,
back
customer,
in time,
customer. Oh, there's only
sending thoughts
customer.
of schoolyard tussles and name-calling cartwheeling through her mind. They were different.
The
Their
trauma.
namesakes were no longer so prominently and shamelessly displayed. Their faces no longer round, their manes not quite so perfectly primmed, but there was no mistaking them.
You guys, I said once or twice, not every day.
Diamond Tiara made a face of disgust.
We're not here to hang out in your stupid, smelly break room. That was just a one-time thing.
Scootaloo tried to not imagine what might have led up to this one-time thing.
Then why are you...
There's something on the sidewalk.
A silence. Scootaloo flicked her ear once, twice, then dug her hoof into it to see if she was missing anything. The silence remained. Rumble kept on sweeping, the broom rushing swiftly over the carpet.
Okay. Thanks for letting me know, I guess.
Well, aren't you gonna clean it up? It's on your property. That makes it your responsibility.
I don't particularly care if you want me to.
Rumble!
Silver Spoon whined. It was a different whine than usual, though. Rather than her typical spoiled moaning, there was a strange urgency in her voice. Another silence. Scootaloo, fearing she might burst if she stayed hidden any longer, jammed the popcorn scoop into the bucket of kernels and sprung up from behind the counter.
What is it?
Silver Spoon's shoulders leapt up into her ears, while Diamond Tiara only cocked her head with moderate concern. As Silver regained her composure, Diamond frowned.
I thought you were teaching.
I was.
And now you're working in a video rental store?
Yes, I am.
Diamond, despite her
Yeah,
obvious confusion,
It's
shook her
Johnny
head
Garr
and
Social
focused
was
again
by
on
Marion
Rumble.
Cloud. Yep. Thank you.
Well,
I don't want.
What is it? On the sidewalk. What is it?
Rumble stuttered a moment, unable to find the words to rebuke the intruder. Diamond cast another confused glance in Scootaloo's direction,
reaction.
but did not linger.
I'm trying to see if I can get Lossie's
Yes,
attention.
okay, I didn't look too closely to figure it out.
I really
That's a you problem.
hope that she can
Scootaloo
see.
grimaced.
I'm not saying I hope
thought
you
you
can
were
see me,
supposed
but
to
God,
be,
what the
like,
hell?
nice now?
And I thought you were a teacher. I guess things change.
Scootaloo tried not to roll her eyes as Rumble crossed the store, his broom and dustpan in
I want
tow.
her to notice
Once
me.
a
She knows who I
bully,
am.
always a bully.
Kind of.
Scootaloo supposed there was only
What
so
am I
much
saying? Okay,
altruistic
get out of
bossing
my head. I'm
around
wanting
you
to
could
focus on the
do,
story.
even if it was your special talent.
Some pony must have gotten sick or something.
Rumble said, clearly dreading the job ahead of him.
Scoots, can you bring me the vomit dust or something?
Silver made a face of abject horror at the phrase. Diamond, however, blew right past it.
I'm just trying to help. No pony's going to want to come in here with a mess like that out in front.
Whatever, Di.
Scootaloo rummaged through the many jars and cans and bags under the counter,
Someone's
searching
gotta
for
slap
whatever
this
it was
bitch.
Rumble had asked for. She finally happened upon a small sack of something called Vomaway and snatched it up in her teeth. She held it up for Rumble to see.
Great. Let's get this over with.
He said, pushing out the front door. The bell tinkled again. Scootaloo leapt over the counter, eliciting a brief appalled yelp from Diamond Tiara, and followed Rumble back out into the light of day. The smell hit her first. The smell was not like the smell of the video store. The video store smell was worn in. It had come from the same little things. New tapes, free popcorn, stain treatment, happening over and over and over again. Each little thing building on itself, creating a smell that crept up on you, that snuck into your nose and scratched at your brain, digging out a little hollow of memory. This was not that. This was violent. This was sudden and assaultive, stinging Scootaloo's nose and nearly making her gag. This was hot from the morning sun, cooked on the concrete like a fat fried egg. This was metallic and salty and meaty, a smell which Scootaloo had only ever sensed near the predators at Fluttershy Sanctuary. This wasn't vomit. Scootaloo smacked a hoof to her snout, trying to keep out the smell, though it had already made its home there. She couldn't even call upon the words to describe what she was smelling. Rumble made a long, low sound of disgust.
Wait, Starry showed up or something?
What the hell is that?
Oh, there she
Tiara
is.
poked her head out of the store and held a handkerchief daintily over her snout.
I told you, it's a disgusting mess.
I'm gonna try
I can
to
stick around to
say
find
hi
out what
to her.
kind.
Ugh.
Rumble groaned, trying to cover his own snout as he leaned down to get a closer look at the thing. Against her better judgment, Scootaloo crept forward and peered over Rumble's shoulder.
Hey, where's
The
the-
mess was mostly liquid. It looked a bit like an oil spill, she thought.
I spelled Among
It
Us
had the
wrong.
same shimmering
Among
qualities
Us.
that oil in the sun often has. She couldn't recall the name for it. but
Among
its color
Us.
shifted as she did. It seemed to be in motion, undulating against the sidewalk like a snake or a jellyfish. All the colors of the rainbow
I
leaking
spelled
out
it wrong.
one by one.
And it was so beautiful that even a simple machine could do it.
Scootaloo winced against the echoing voice in her head. At the center of the pool of the colorful liquid was a jagged hunk of something. Scootaloo found that, try as she might, she couldn't
I'm just
quite
gonna play
bring
the
herself to
Who
look
Reported the
directly
Body.
at it. It wasn't very large, perhaps only the size of a hay burger, but it seemed to almost pulsate when stared down. to throb. It was red, mostly red, with little veins of white stretching through it. It looked kind of like marble, she thought, kind of like a leaf.
Oh,
white along
the
one
long
edge
legs.
too, even though the edge was torn
I would think you'd
shreds,
want a lost
as if
would want
it
to
had
be
been dropped
buddies with
into
Oh my god!
rows of alternating blades, biting at the air, whirling and snapping like a hungry monster.
No, 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 no. No, 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 no.
Scootaloo skittered backwards, hooves scrambling along the sidewalk as she tried to distance herself from the mess. She closed her eyes against the brutal onslaught of vibrant images that flashed through her mind. Only the darkness there behind her eyelids seemed to make them all more vivid. Rumble moaned. He shuffled slowly along the sidewalk, doing his best to avoid the puddle, which bled out from the chunk.
Pass me the stuff, Scoots.
That's not... That isn't... Just don't touch it, okay?
Rumble furrowed his brow and looked back at Scootaloo.
I'm not gonna touch it. Just give me the stuff.
Scootaloo sucked in a small breath and tucked the sack under her wing.
Seriously, Rumble, I don't think you should go near it.
What are you two bickering about now?
Will you?
Are you okay?
Rumble set his jaw, giving Scootaloo one last scathing look.
Fine. You wanna be difficult? Be difficult.
He spread out one wing to force Scootaloo away from the mess and dropped the dustpan onto the ground near the puddle. Before Scootaloo could even summon a single word, he was sweeping the chunk into the dustpan, snout wrinkled as the smell wafted up into his face. It seemed
Oh my god,
to make
because
his
I think
eyes
freaking Mecha would
Then
like to know
he
this question.
paused.
How does
He
she do
looked
the
down
editing
into
so
the
well? This is
dustpan.
amazing.
His breath hitched.
Like every
and
time
he
with the
seemed
editing,
to
it's
freeze,
amazing.
immobilized by what he saw.
What?
Oh, shit.
Rumble blinked.
What's going on?
Rumble, what is it?
Scootaloo asked, her knees nearly knocking as she tried to not turn and gallop away. Wordlessly, emotionless, Rumble lifted the dustpan off the ground. Long strings of shimmery goop pulled at it, as if trying to hang on to their source. He dipped it carefully towards Scootaloo, giving her a look at what was inside. The chunk had rolled as he swept it into the pan. What had once been face down, soaking in colorful liquid, which now covered the sidewalk, was turned to the sun, though it too was soaked through with the slippery substance. Scootaloo recognized the texture. Fur. Fine yellow fur. Matted with what Scootaloo now understood to be viscera. The rounded edges of a purple cutie mark biting into one jagged corner.
What is it?
Scootaloo felt her chest tighten. She turned her head skyward
The Barbie takes
and
it in. Is
watched
it
as
Aurora?
Cloudsdale drifted lazily by, the ruins of the weather factory looming over Ponyville. But for just a moment was all it took.
Oh, now I have more power. Nice.
Look, you
Alright, I
know the
won't.
stories.
The mayor grumbled, scribbling in her notepad.
All that urban legend nonsense. They've been getting
Or
a lot
did
of
she?
traction again since the weather factory shut down and caused all those scheduling issues a few months back. Fools love to turn nothing into something.
Scootaloo shook her head.
I don't understand. Are you saying I imagined the chunk of pony meat on the sidewalk?
The officer glanced up from her notepad to glare momentarily at Scootaloo.
I've been here all along. You never know when I'm
I'm
watching and
saying
listening.
little ponies love playing little pranks.
So what was it then? A hay burger dipped in motor oil? Come on.
I don't know.
Lost just finally realized. Oh, hi, Scribbler.
Opened her mouth to reply, but found the words caught in her throat. The
Yeah.
officer stared at her,
Yeah.
eyes half-lidded and
right.
bored, mouth turned up into a joyless smirk of superiority.
Wait. You think I did this?
Sure would make the paperwork easier if you did.
Why the hell would I mess around like this? I'm an adult. I have a job. I'm actually trying to do my job right now, believe it or not.
The officer blinked once, slowly.
You're Scootaloo, right?
Scootaloo's brow furrowed. She took a cautious step back from the officer, one stunted wing flaring to protect her cutie mark from view.
So what if I am?
The officer shifted her weight from
shit,
one
I hit
hoof
my
to
mic.
the other, gazing suspiciously at Scootaloo as she did.
I heard about what happened. That's all. You're on sabbatical because of it, right?
That has nothing to do with this.
What is happening? So
I'm
wait,
supposed to take this thing back to the lab and run tests on it or something?
Or something.
The officer muttered. She tucked her notepad back into her breast pocket.
Any pony I can reach out to regarding your incident?
Any pony I can reach out to regarding you being a massive dick?
At long last,
Jesus.
the officer painted on an artificial and condescending smile.
Have it your way, kid. I'll be calling your supervisor this afternoon.
Scootaloo made a sound, intending to be dismissive and nonchalant, but coming out the opposite. She didn't get out any words at all before the officer turned on her heels and trotted in the other direction. She did, however, manage to stick out her tongue in her general direction. The spot on the sidewalk where the chunk of pony had once sat now had a small wet sign floor placed over it, one which Rumble had frantically dug up at the request of the police officers. Other than some remaining rainbow slick which glinted menacingly in the sunlight, there was no sign of anything having gone wrong at all. And, if the officers were to be believed, nothing had. Diamond Tiara, who had been slumped on the curb in front of the store, caught Scootaloo's eye and waved her over. Scootaloo hesitated, looking over her shoulder for signs of Silver Spoon. She spotted her blabbling shrilly to a few male officers, Rumble standing beside her and looking a little more than exhausted. She turned back to Diamond, a hoof held to her chest, and mouthed, "Me?" Diamond nodded and waved her over a second time.
You
You're right
okay?
when after we had
She
that
asked
convo,
as
right?
Scootaloo popped down beside her. Scootaloo gave her a suspicious glance.
Don't make me answer that.
Fair enough.
I'm gonna ask Lost
The
to do
bear
the spooky
watched
mouth dance.
silently as Silver Spoon waved her hooves in the air, no doubt sensationalizing the whole thing. Rumble looked on, nodding enthusiastically when needed. Some officers scribbled furiously in their notepads, while others seemed less than charmed by the whole act.
So, Rumble and Silver Spoon?
I wish I knew. Whatever it is, it's annoying.
Scootaloo wanted to laugh, but the genuine bitterness in Diamond's voice made her bite her tongue.
Maya Mexico.
Had you ever heard
Greetings
these
from
urban
Mexico
legends
City.
the
Well,
officers were
greetings
talking
to you
about?
from Mexico
I
City,
don't remember
man.
those sorts of things getting passed around when we were kids.
I don't think so. I got most of my campfire stories from Rainbow Dash, and I don't remember anything about the Weather Factory.
Diamond nodded.
I would have thought some of the students at Twilight School would spread stories like that. I guess I'm not really in the know on that sort of thing anymore.
Yeah, it's weird being old.
Yeah.
The crowd was thinning now. More and more officers peeled off, having given up on Silver Spoon's wild exaggerations. Silver Spoon, to her credit, didn't seem to be slowing down in the least.
I'm sorry. I honestly thought it was just some drunk pony's barf, not, you know.
It's okay.
I don't want you getting in trouble.
Well, I won't. I didn't do anything.
Diamond seemed taken aback.
I know.
She looked at Scootaloo with a mix of apprehension and longing. Her lips seemed to quiver in anticipation of words she could nearly form, and yet were trapped at the back of her tongue. She swallowed hard, opened her mouth, and closed it again. Questions going unasked. Scootaloo pulled her rear legs up onto the curb,
I'm gonna try to see if
curling
Lost
herself into
will
a
see my
tiny
comment
ball.
this time. If she
The
doesn't,
loud
then I'm
yellow
just gonna
from the wet
stop
floor
and pay
sign
attention
shouted
the
to
story.
her from her peripheral vision. begging for her to look, to flash on all those horrible images that bombarded her mind more and more often. Daily now. More than daily. She remembered when...
Finally! She noticed! How are you?
Not a constant one.
Why did you come back?
Finally, she notices my
Ponyville.
comment.
I
God!
mean, teaching at Twilight School
gonna ask
seemed
her how
like
is
the
she
perfect
today.
thing for you and your friends. Did something happen?
No, just I don't know.
I was waiting.
It wasn't as right as it seemed
I
to
was,
be,
I was just
guess.
waiting for the moment.
Apple Bloom and
I was
Sweet
waiting for the
Still teaching?
moment when she would say hi to me.
You enjoyed it at least, right? I'd hate to think you spend all those years.
I really don't feel like talking about it, okay?
You're not gonna see my other
Diamond
comment. I don't
blinked.
care. She said hi to me.
Huff,
Yay!
raised in gesticulation. Slowly
Here,
dropped
Losty.
back
I'm
to
here
the
to support you.
sidewalk.
I'm watching your video. I'm here to support you,
Sorry, I
man.
guess.
The last officer said something rather stern and final to Rumble.
This
Though
fanfic won the
Silver Spoon
Rainbow
seemed
Factory
yet
10-year anniversary.
unfinished,
Yeah.
her babbling
We know that. We
tapered
know
to
that,
a low
man. We know that.
whine. And Rumble
Thank you,
gave
Lost,
her a
for
bigger
shouting me
pat
out.
on her
Thank you.
shoulder.
Thank you. I
Then
love
Rumble's
you.
eyes landed on Scootaloo.
I'm watching your video.
There was something strange.
You're on the
in
channel
them,
saying hi
a
to me,
look
man.
of concern that seemed to stretch beyond what they had seen and into some entirely new realm of depravity. Scootaloo swallowed hard and waved to Rumble. He waved back, said something else to Silver Spoon, and trotted over
I'm
to
gonna
the
ask her, when
curb.
does the next at... Hang on, I'm gonna ask her, when
Rumble
does...
scratched the back of his head.
I'm gonna ask her, when
They-
does the...
They asked a lot of questions.
Oh, shit.
They can't seriously think we called the cops on our own prank, can they?
I don't know, Scoots. They
Oh,
asked
wait,
a
hang
lot
on.
of questions about you.
The words struck ice into Scootaloo's heart.
When
Me?
does...
Yeah, talking about some incident at Twilight School. Wanted to know why you were back in town, or if you talked to any of us about what happened. Do you know what they're talking about?
Scootaloo felt her heart clench in her chest.
No. That's weird.
Rumble and Silver Spoon shared a look.
I mean, the way they kind of talked about you, it sounded
It
like...
doesn't matter.
Scootaloo said, trying to maintain the cool nonchalance that she was once known for. She jumped out from the curb and pushed past Rumble and Silver Spoon.
They're just dumb cops.
I'm just gonna
They
ask
wanted
her, like,
easy
when does the
answers so
next
they could
video
get
on The
back to
Last of Us
coffee and
release?
donuts. Am I right?
She looked back at the trio by the curb. All of them wore
I just-
some
like I said, if you
variation
don't
of
mind
the same
spoiling.
worry. Some true
And
concern,
if she doesn't, I don't
some
care.
paranoia in which crept up from their stomachs and settled in the back of their throats. Diamond Tiara avoided eye contact, and Silver seemed more scared than anything else.
Kyle will probably get
Rumble, however, held Scootaloo's gaze firm and strong.
Scoots,
the
I
best
think you
kids.
did something. And not a prank.
Quavo
like-
Senorita. What's
like
up?
actually hurt
What's
some
up from
pony.
the land of the-
Scootaloo's heart stopped. The trio of ponies before her maintained the same look, the same scared, worried face that said, "Don't feel sad, but don't get too close."
You think I'd hurt some pony?
No, of course not. We just... Well, shit.
Let's say hi to
Scoots.
Super Scratch Cat.
We just don't want you to
'cause
get
he's cool.
arrested.
Maybe
Go
it would
subscribe
help
to
if
him,
we knew
man.
what
Go subscribe to
happened
Super
at
Scratch Cat,
Twilight
man.
School.
Awesome
Nothing
animator.
happened. I was having trouble sleeping, and so Starlight put me on a sabbatical till I was feeling better. It's not like a big deal or anything.
Scootaloo tried to smile, at once bright and sleepy, praying that no one would ask
Yeah.
any follow-up questions. The trio seemed hesitant,
Yay!
waiting for
Finally!
Scootaloo to
Okay,
crack,
she didn't
but
shout me out, but
with no
she
such
had
luck.
said the next part of The Last of Us on the
did you
side
tell
channel will
them
hopefully
that?
be soon.
Any
I'm
pony
making
I
sure the
can
main
reach out
content
to
is
regarding
first
your
block.
incident?
Any pony
Thanks
I can
for
reach
the
out to
info.
regarding you being a massive dick? Yeah. Something
Thanks for
like
the
that.
info.
Why have you been sleeping so badly?
Thanks for the information, man.
I don't know.
I'll
I've been
gladly
having
be
nightmares,
waiting.
I guess.
Nightmares?
Yeah, nightmares. They can't arrest me for nightmares, okay?
I never said they would arrest.
Can you guys stop with the third degree? We just saw some traumatizing shit, and I'd really like it if you quit grilling me about it.
There was a long silence. The sun, always an afternoon sun in August,
Reverse
regardless
sleep
of the time of
experiment.
day, baked the sidewalk with its golden orange light. Scootaloo couldn't tell if the sharp smell was her nerves, her imagination, or the little remnants of that slick rainbow-hued viscera that still lingered on the concrete. Whatever it was, it made her want to gag.
Sorry.
We just want to help.
That's exactly what you said when you came into the store this morning. Look, I'm just trying to get some distance from the School of Friendship junk right now, okay? I don't want to talk about it if I don't have to.
Silver Spoon nodded.
We're your friend Scootaloo.
Okay.
Aw.
We understand.
Good.
Great.
Good job,
Scootaloo
Henry.
nodded once
Good job,
more
Henry. Good
and
job.
turned to head back into
Good
the video
comment,
store.
Henry.
I live for the wailing, their wings and hooves, flailing that sickening crunch of bone as it strikes against the chrome.
Oh, they're fiercely out before me. Let's carve and get a look. See what's hiding deep inside as I